much time, so we'll have to be quick. The thing is that when you're creating a talking head video, the concept and the way that you think about it, the way that you think about batching, scheduling it, all of that is very different from something which is akin to a video where you have something else be the focal point, be the visual weight, be the thing that the person stares at for the most of the part. In this video, for example, where Hamza is doing a presentation on Canva, he is just a small little widget or whatever we call it, and he'll probably go on the side of the screen right here. Same with what's this guy called, Jack Hopkins. Same with this guy, Mr. Welch or Jordan Welch or whatever, where he's making videos on Miro presentations, and he is just showing how to do things. He's just showing a visual presentation, and that's practically the visual weight of it. Same with Alex Ramosi, who uses actual whiteboards to explain things, to actually make sure that you understand, and that is what helps people understand. That is what helps people learn. This works, and this works very effectively. Wait, wrong slide, yeah. So the thing is, you need to think about these very differently. However, if you are someone who's going to be using pre-existing assets, so you're going to be making videos like this, Mr. Welch guy right here, right? So he created this one video, right? And he probably has like 5, 10, 15 videos on this whole channel in general. But if you're going to be pumping out these videos like about 5 or something per whatever, but if you're going to be bumping out these videos like 5 or something per week, then you need to have a whole different strategy about it, and that is what you need to understand. You can either see yourself as a content creator, which in the previous method, in the previous talking head strategy worked, because guess what? We just had a few B clips and a few transitions and maybe some music or whatever sprinkled in at the start. Now, what you need to understand is that this isn't just content creation. Most of the visual weight in the videos and whatever is taken up by this side of the visual presentation or whatever that you're doing. So having pre-built assets which you can just constantly use is far better. And like Alex Ramosi is constantly drawing it. Now he enjoys drawing, that's another thing. But if you don't, if you just want pre-existing assets which you can just constantly use to pump out more and more content, specifically of this side where you are just showing a visual presentation and that is the focal point of the video, then I think that what you need to do is change the way that you think about content, change the relationship that you have with it. This means that rather than emulating, let's say, Harms or whatever, we start emulating these guys, Jack Hopkins, Jordan Wells, blah, 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 and only specific parts of the content strategy, because we don't want all of them. For example, Alex Ramosi is someone who actually enjoys drawing on the whiteboard. I don't. Charlie Morgan is someone who sometimes switches between these kinds of videos where he has an actual whiteboard, where he's sometimes using Miro or another kind of digital whiteboard content, and same with Jordan Wells, same with Jack Hopkins, same with Mark Builds Businesses or whatever. These guys generally have certain strategies that you like, certain strategies that you dislike, that you think that you can do long term and whatever, and you choose that and you just go with it, right? So the thing is that around 60 to 80% of my video will be the pre-built visuals, whereas something like the start or the hook of the video is something that I will actually put more work into, something that I will make manually for every single video. So it makes sense for me to use that. Now, of course, for the camera and whatever, we will still color grade, we will still put filters on the audio and whatever, but what we need to understand is that the whole as presentation is the focus of the video, except for the hook, we need to optimize for that, right? So we need to change the approach and change the relationship that we have with content. As I said before, most of the work that we were doing was content creation, because except for something like a little bit of B clip, some transitions, some music and start, etc., it was just us creating. It was just us telling them what to do, and just the whole visual weight was on something that we actively created. We wrote the script, we did this, we did that. Now we need to think more like I dare say a pimp, a media operator, a Lego builder who just takes, say, certain blocks, certain assets, certain, let's say, women here and there, and we just move them around from X point to Y point, from Z point to ABC point or whatever. And we just need to see that, okay, let's say I work on, let's say, quitting porn, right? I help people quit porn, and they have a bunch of self-limiting beliefs about willpower, about addiction, about anything else, right? So I just create a bunch of pre-built assets about, let's say, that addiction is a plant, and you are focusing on willpower. Willpower is but a stem, a symptomatic problem rather than the true problem, and for that, for to fix that, you need to go to the root. Another thing I could say is that willpower is like running a marathon. So what you need to do is, rather than focusing on your running shoes, you need to focus on losing weight. You need to focus on actually getting towards the thing which will improve that, and that is, let's say, your self-limiting beliefs, your lack of ability to deal with pain, your desire to run away from pain constantly, and these are the things that we need to focus on. So these are things that we just need to optimize, and as I said before, if we can just create 2 to 3 visuals per concept, for example, this one, like the interpretation of stimuli, for example, I could go on a bunch of things, right? But you need to choose that, and you need to see what being a media operator is like compared to content creation. Content creation is now visually about 20% of the damn screen. So what we need to do is focus on the presentation, focus on the and whilst so what we need to do is focus on the presentation, and of course you optimize for the hook, you optimize for the storytelling and whatnot, but that is no longer the main point. What we focus on right now is efficiency on the visual production side, as that is one of the biggest limiting things that is holding us back, right? So doing that will allow us later on time to algorithm. So doing that will allow us later on time for both algorithm optimizing, for storytelling, for building authority on the video. Like, I did this, I did that, I've helped these people X, Y, Z. And these videos will no longer be sculptures, individual sculptures that we're making, but more like clay, wherein we can take one Lego part, we can take one batch of clay or whatever, and we can use that. We can just attach that to something else. We can make it a homunculi, which will, as a result, perform far better, be far more efficient, and will allow us to be more faster with the way that we're making content. Because the faster that you can fail, the faster you will learn. The faster that you will learn, the more likely you will be to succeed. I hope that this video was helpful, and cheers.